Chris Broussard joining us on a Friday morning. Broussard, good morning. We're talking some Bucks Heat. Much more the same in Game 3 that we saw in Game 2, that we saw in Game 1. Total domination from Milwaukee, using a balanced scoring attack. Well, not so much in Game 1. Led, of course, by the giant Greek basketballing superstar freak Giannis Antetokounmpo. 17 points, 17 boards. Giannis said, quote, after, our job is not done here after the win. Nick, start with you. Does this postseason feel different for Milwaukee?
Oh, absolutely. And it felt different before the postseason even started because Milwaukee, unlike the fraudulent JV team in Los Angeles, looked at the playoff bracket and said, give us the toughest path. We want to exorcise our demons. We want Miami in round 1. And now they are old-fashioned molly-whopping Miami in round 1. That's the first reason it feels different. The second reason it feels different, Broussard, is because of one Jrue Holiday. Prior to this postseason, Jrue Holiday was probably most well-known for having the most unique spelling of the name Drew of any human being ever. Now, people are getting to know him as, one of the most underrated players in the league over the last decade. I have a jaw-dropping number for you. In this series, a series the Bucks have dominated Game 2, dominated Game 3, obviously won Game 1 in overtime. When Jrue Holiday has been off the court, the Bucks are minus 23. When he has been on the court, they are plus 88. They were plus 41 with him on the court last night. They're only plus 4 when Giannis was out there. Jrue Holiday has changed this team. Giannis has matured. PJ Tucker was as good as any midseason acquisition any team made all year, outside of Harden, obviously, which was an early season acquisition. And you're damn straight this is a different Bucks team. And I understand I'm the only, or Wilds might be as well, but I know Broussard and Brandon still like the Nets against the Bucks. But Broussard, I think even you would admit that the Nets have to be watching this series saying, oh boy, that ain't gonna be easy, because this is not the same old Bucks.
Look, I agree with everything you said until your last 5 seconds. The Nets are not watching this series saying, oh boy, like they're scared. I mean, stop it, Nick. When the Bucks beat them at the end of the season, they were injured. James Harden was nowhere to be found, all right? He's the facilitator. He's the one that makes it work for Brooklyn. So, yeah, they're going to give Milwaukee their respect. They know Giannis can ball. They know Jrue is a difference maker and he's a great defender. And they know Chris Middleton is coming of age. I love the way he is developing, getting better year after year. And that's a big thing in this series. But fear, no. Now, let me go here, because I agree with everything you said, as I mentioned. They are different. They face their fears. Unlike Brandon's Clippers, they stared the bully down and said, we got to beat them to go where we want to go, and they did it. So I give them all the credit in the world. But the fact is this, too. Miami's a different team. All right? Look, there was pixie dust in the bubble last year. All right, there was something strange going on. T.J. Warren was looking like an all-pro. I mean, it was all types of madness happening in the bubble, okay? And Miami just loved the bubble. And now they've turned back into a pumpkin. And they've been a pumpkin all year. This Heat team just isn't that good. It's as simple as that. They don't shoot the 3 as well as they did last year. They aren't as tough as they were last year. They're probably a little cockier, which is wrong, than they were last year.
Yeah, why?
They don't defend the way they did last year. They are a 6 seed, a deserving 6 seed. So, yes, the Bucks look better, but what if they get beaten the next round? Are we really going to say this postseason was different than the last 2? No. So they're doing what they're supposed to do to a 6 seed, smacking them up.
Yeah, but Chris, they look good, man. I mean, last year, the Heat, you're right, the Heat beat them in 5 in a bubble. And now this year, they're up 3-0 like everybody knows. You know, Jrue Holiday is playing sensational, 17 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds, and shooting over 50%. Look, the underrated player on this team is not Drew Holiday, Nick. It is Chris Middleton. That guy, man, big shot after big shot. I mean, so efficient. He get his guys in the right spots. That dude right there, Wilds, is the reason why this team can make a run in the playoffs. But unfortunately, you know, when they see the Nets and probably next series, it's going to be over. But man, it is going to be tough. Chris, you can't deny that. You know, there is a lot of validity behind what Nick is saying. This series against the Nets is going to be tough. But you have 3 guys that can drop 25 points on any given night, and that's the thing that the Bucks is going to have to really worry about and try to hone in on, Wilds.
All right, so the Bucks have a championship mentality, and Broussard mentioned it, that they could have avoided the Heat by pulling a Ty Lue and sort of losing that game, but they didn't. They went right through them, and they're going to end up sweeping them. I also think, Broussard, it's important that they sweep. I think if they need that momentum and they're just totally focused, and you see sort of like, this is not the last 2 years, we are here to win, we need to get rid of the Heat as soon as possible. But I want to ask you a question about the Heat. I called up someone close to the Heat organization, and by close I mean just my buddy Ben, who was like physically close to the stadium when he was growing up. But here's what he said. He sounded a lot like me talking about the Patriots. He's like, I always believe in Pat Riley. I believe in Pat Riley. Like, there's such a belief in Pat Riley's master plan that he's not nervous. He's like, we just got run through by a better team. But he's mentioning Kawhi. They're already looking forward. Heat fans are already looking at it. Mentioning Kawhi. And I know I was trying to get fired up to bring Kawhi to New York. But do you think Kawhi to Miami is a real thing with Pat Riley? Absolutely. You got Bam, you got Jimmy. As much as I like him in New York, I think that team could compete with the Nets next year if Kawhi went there.
All right, that's a great question, Wilds, and I won't poo-poo it because it certainly is something that's on the table.
Absolutely.
I think ultimately Kawhi will stay in L.A. I think, number one, we know he's a Southern California kid, and he wanted to go home. Number two, I think Kawhi's got enough pride. Look, his legacy, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. We know he's a great player, all that. But if he were to leave the Clippers in free agency, it would look like a failure, which it would have been if they go out in this first round. And it just looks like you're running. And how many teams do you need to go to? We know this is the age of movement. Nobody looks down on LeBron or KD for playing with all these different teams. But Kawhi going to a 4th team, especially after you failed in your hometown. All right, you had the billboards up in L.A. You're the king of L.A. now. You got the commercials, all that, the subtle jabs at LeBron that you're taking over the town. And you run? No, he needs to stay. Like we just talked about Milwaukee. Like Milwaukee has fought through this, fought through some adversity, and I respect them for it. Kawhi needs to stay in L.A. There might be changes around him, but fight through adversity. This is your franchise. This is your team. Stay there. If he does want to leave, though, certainly Miami to go play with Jimmy Butler and Bam and in a great organization led by Pat Riley, definitely on the table. If I'm Golden State, I'm seeing, can I work some type of sign and trade? I've got Minnesota's top 3 protected lottery pick. I've got the Andrew Wiggins, who Nick is finally in love with. I'll throw him in there. Whatever anybody but Clay and Steph you can have. So I'm just saying, the Golden State's got to get in here too if he's available.
If Kawhi were to leave, I think it's New York or Miami. And Miami, it's important to note, at the trade deadline, didn't do things they could do in order to, at least according to the local reports, keep the flexibility because Pat Riley thought Kawhi could be an option. I just want to say one thing about the bubble last year in Pixie Dust. Everything that happened last year in the bubble is repeating itself right now outside of Milwaukee, Miami, which just leads me to believe Milwaukee has gotten a lot better and Miami got worse. The Clippers look looked like total frauds in the bubble. Oh, it was the bubble, it was the bubble. Nope, down 0-2. The Suns looked like an up-and-coming awesome team in the bubble, the 2 seed. The Lakers were the best team in the league in the bubble. Oh, they're going to win the West again. The Nuggets had a huge emergence in the bubble. They look great again, and they've got the guy who's going to win the league MVP. So I do think there's a lot that happens